We know honey starts as a flower nectar collected by the bees. But have you ever wondered how this nectar gets converted into sweet tasting honey? This sweet, viscous liquid we take for granted as a sweetener or cooking ingredient is the product of industrious honeybees working as a highly organized colony, collecting flower nectar and converting it into a high sugar food store. The production of honey by bees involves several chemical processes, including digestion, regurgitation, enzyme activity, and evaporation. Before we dwell into the honey making process, let's get some background knowledge on the lifestyle of these highly talented social insects. Honeybees are an integral part of pollination system, responsible for successful seeding of more than 90% of all flowering plants and fruiting of 30% of our food. Honeybees are entirely behavior dependent on the climate in which they live. Therefore, their behavior and success varies greatly across climates. Wild honeybees make hives in rock crevices, hollow trees, and other areas that scout bees believe are appropriate for their colony. They construct their hives by chewing wax until it becomes soft, then bonding large quantities of wax into cells of a honeycomb. Many modern beekeepers raise bees in handmade beehives. High yield, better honey quality, ease of product harvesting are some of the major advantages of modern beehives. In addition, modern hives provide the beekeeper with the ability to inspect, manipulate, and manage the colony with their availability of removable frames as the bees build their honeycomb. The roof of the beehive is also designed to provide the bees with shelter from the elements along with adequate ventilation, so that the bees can regulate the colony's temperature. Honeybees have 3 social castes, each with a specific role or set of roles that divide all the labor inside the colony. Each hive will only have one queen bee who is the only fruitful individual in the colony. The worker bee, on the other hand, is responsible for foraging, feeding of young, honey production and storage, wax production, cleaning, and defending the hive against intruders. The male bees in the colony are called drones. Their sole purpose is to spread the genetics of the colony by mating with virgin queens from other colonies. Once they mate, they die successfully. But how do these bees make honey? The process of making honey begins with the collection of nectar from the flowers. In this stage, the adult worker bee fly over the flowers to extract the nectar using their long tongues, which later get stored in the bee's extra stomach or crop. Once ingested, the nectar mixes with the enzyme that transform its chemical composition and pH, making it more suitable for long-term storage. Once the honeybee returns to the hive, it passes the nectar to another bee by regurgitating the liquid into other bees' mouth. This regurgitation process is repeated until the partially digested nectar is fully deposited into a honeycomb. Once in the comb, nectar is still a viscous liquid. To get all that extra water out of the honey, bees set to work. They use their wings to fan the cells of the honeycomb in an effort to speed up the process of evaporation. In this way, they manage to extract up to 80% of excess water. When most of the water has evaporated from the honeycomb, the bee seals the comb with a secretion of liquid from its abdomen, which eventually hardens into bee wax. But to extract this liquid gold, the beekeeper needs to first clear the honeybees of the frames. Beekeepers use smokers to keep the bees away. When the bees smell the smoke, they release pheromones, thus communicating with other bees about an imminent threat, and the bees stay away from the hive. These handmade beehives give the opportunity to inspect the frames for pest infestation and the health of the colony. The frequency of hive inspections can vary depending on the activity of the hive and the time of the year. Unless you have spotted a problem that needs addressing, every 3 to 4 weeks is a reasonable inspection period for a well-established colony. Next is the process of uncapping. Traditionally, beekeepers used an uncapping knife to remove the bee wax, but it's far easier to use an uncapping comb that gently pulls off the wax. It also minimizes the damage to the comb structure. The uncapped frames are then loaded on the honey extractor. The next step is to spin the honey out of the comb. Most small-scale beekeepers do this with a manual, hand-powered extractor. It takes about 2 hours of hand spinning to extract honey using this method. In contrast, it takes a flip of a switch and 15 minutes to extract the same number of frames using an electric extractor. Once the honey flows out of the extractor, it will be filled with bits of bee wax and other debris. Once it's spun out, the honey needs to be drained through a mesh to separate the larger bits out. Next, to remove any remaining wax that may exist after collecting the product, beekeepers leave it in decanting for a few days. This allows for any wax particles to float to the top of the honey. Some beekeepers use a settling bucket to do this. At the bottom of the honey bucket is a honey gate, a kind of tap that you can open and close to allow honey out. It is here that you place your jars and fill them with honey. This raw honey has been used as a remedy throughout history and has a variety of health benefits and medicinal uses. Many of us use honey as an old sore throat remedy that soothes the ache and can help with cough. Simply adding it in hot tea with lemon will do the magic. Due to its antimicrobial properties, it's even used in some hospitals as treatment for wounds. Topical use of medicinal grade honey has been shown to promote wound healing, particularly in burns. Generally, 1 tablespoon or 21 grams of raw honey contains 64 calories and 17 grams of sugar. Raw honey also contains small amounts of vitamins and minerals. In addition, it is a source of varying amounts of amino acids and enzymes. However, honey should not be given to babies under 1 year old, as it can cause infant botulism, an illness caused by the toxin from Clostridium botulinum bacteria. This bacteria usually thrive in soil and dust. They also can contaminate some foods, honey in particular. With all these unique health benefits of honey, everyone has a role in protecting bee health, whether you're a beekeeper or someone just looking to learn more about bees. It can start with supporting your local beekeepers, educate and outreach by spreading the word about bee health. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more educational content.